Hey, you all, Carpetbagger here, coming to you live from the south. More specifically, we are in Chamblee, Georgia, right outside of Atlanta, and it is quite rainy today, which is actually fitting because we're here at the Rainy Day Revival's brand new Oddities Museum. Now, Rainy Day Revival is an oddity shop here in the Atlanta area, and for the past 2 years they've traveled with the Oddities and Curiosities Expo, which I've attended quite a few events, and they had a traveling sideshow. But what's very exciting is right now they are doing a grand opening of their permanent installation, their permanent Oddities Museum here in the Atlanta area. So they had a absolutely wonderful traveling sideshow, a lot of very authentic sideshow items on display, a lot of very interesting freak animals and things like that. It was always a treat checking out the sideshow while visiting the Oddities and Curiosities Expo. So very excited to be here as they open up their brand new Oddities Museum, known simply as the Oddities Museum. So please follow me. Okay, so just been informed there's no photos in the Oddities Museum, but they said they could give me a few sneak peeks. All right, so you step in here, just absolutely overwhelming, filled here, and we're gonna take a few peeks at a few different items. We're gonna head down this way. Yeah, we do have a lot of the kind of Victorian style taxidermy displays, different animals here. That's the Wolverine, the bobcat head there. And oh, look at this little guy. This is a Horsefield's tree shoe right there. And of course, chaos reigns here at the Oddities Museum. Yeah, look over here, just a lot going on. Look at the piece of art there. The alligator mouths coming out the side. Got a pink fish up there. Yeah, this is just overwhelming amount of taxidermy and freak taxidermy. You can see up here the different misshapen horns. Got the taxidermied, like a Jacob sheep. Actually, Jacob sheep usually has 4 horns. This one actually has 5 horns here, and then the 2-headed calf here. And of course, I can't show you everything, but there is so many 2-headed calves, so many deformed calves that I've never seen this many under one roof before. And then look at this bull back here with the extra leg coming out of his back. Pretty amazing. And just a giant wall full of fish as well. Check out the jars of fun or wet specimens here. There's a cat head, that one. Got different 2-headed animals there. Thinking that's maybe a goat or a horse. And that one too has Siamese. Got some pigs here. It's a pig with some extra appendages. And then a cyclops pig there. And apparently this turtle here, this 2-headed turtle, actually lived for 15 years with the 2 heads. Pretty amazing. Some medical items over in this corner. You see this is like a full prosthetic leg. Or actually, yeah, fits over like the pelvis where the good leg would go through. Yeah, different things here. It's that little smoking doll right there. Yeah, there's the cases of medication here. Like all these medical models. It's kind of fascinating how they all can come apart. Oh yeah, some dental equipment there, different teeth. Yeah, look at those choppers there. And all the horrifying tools used to work on a mouth. I guess I've never had to wear one of these where they prise your mouth open while they work on it. So those classic clown trash cans. And this one here, this one's got a smaller mouth. I don't know if that's still a trash can or something else would go in there. And these are interesting. These are Victorian miniature pieces of taxidermy. So you'd have like a lion, a giraffe, a zebra, something larger, but these would be actually, yeah, obviously it's not not from a miniature animal, but they use the fur to create a little miniature version. I've heard this called fauxidermy before as well, but yeah, it's a way to have a giant jungle animal without you know, being able to save on space. Big full-sized horse there, and then the wall of carnival punks. These would be like what you'd like throw a ball here to knock these down at a carnival. You see the amazing entire wall. There's some crazy masks up there on top. See the wolf mask. Oh, is that Don Quixote there at the top? Like some sort of fish monster, and maybe a knockoff Mickey Mouse there. And, yeah, another two-headed calf there. They're just lurking everywhere. This little guy here, I don't know if anything's wrong with him, but still pretty fun. And check out this vampire here in the coffin. Apparently this is made out of animal skin, but pretty terrifying there with his I guess while he was sleeping, someone came and put a stake through his little heart. Poor guy. Alright, I think we're gonna go check out the gift shop area. You can see the Fluffy the Lamb of Satan here. This is actually one of the oddities they have. They have the cycloptic lamb, and then this was a stuffed replica created by Art Attack. Kate from Art Attack, friend of the channel. We've visited her booth at many Oddities and Curiosities Expo. Alright, and they're actually raffling off a two-headed calf. See, $10 per entry. So it's Billy and Bob, the rootinest, tootinest two-headed calf, because he's dressed up like a cowboy there.
Thank you.
See the bone pen there in the gift shop. And these delicious-looking chicken wing keychains. You can see the plushy jackalope there, and I guess selling reproductions of Bubbles, the dwarf calf. They're selling reproductions of the skull. Now you can see Bubbles here at the museum, and some t-shirts there. Atlanta, I Love Freaks, and the Oddities Museum. This one here's got a clown on it.
Where'd the music go, Josh?
Oh, is it this clown right here?
Yeah.
Look at this vending machine there, full of
y'all can take a look.
doll parts.
No photos, no touching.
So I love what they've done with the place. Big thank you to the Rainy Day Revival Oddities Museum. Normally, they did not allow any photos, any videos, but I was very gracious that they let me take a few little videos throughout. I've showed you an incredibly small portion of what's going on in here. It is just floor to ceiling with oddities. Like I said, like mutant creatures. I think that's where they're the strongest. They have so many mutated animals, freak animals, sideshow animals, you know, cows with 6 legs, cows with 2 heads, cows with 2 faces, cows with 1 head, 2 bodies. They like a spider, a little spider calf, like I could have gone there and just made a list of all the different unique mutations. They have one where it's like the entire collection of an old traveling sideshow. They have their entire collection of oddities, of mutant animals, and definitely if you're into strange and unusual things, into taxidermy, into mutant animals, I would say definitely come here and check out the Oddities Museum. It hurts my heart a little bit that I could not show you more, because I could spend hours and hours in there filming, but I do appreciate the generosity of them allowing me to give a little sneak peek of what's going on in there. But I do want to give you guys a full video today, so I think we're gonna see if we can find us another museum. So it is a little rainy today. Figured we'd find something to do indoors. So I drove over here to the Atlanta History Center. All right, so let's see what they have here at the Atlanta History Center. Looks like we have some Civil War stuff back here. Of course, Civil War plays a huge part in Atlanta history. See a muddy little campsite here. Oh, looks like we got soldiers from both sides hanging out here. This guy here in his Union blues, and this guy here in his Confederate grays, or Johnny Reb, as it refers to him here. Of course, one of the most horrific parts of being in a war, you know, besides just being shot all the time, is actually having to endure the medical procedures to allegedly help keep you alive. A lot of them did not necessarily do a good job of that. Here are these field medical kits. Of course, you always got to have the big saw there in case you need to chop a limb off. You know, all the different implements here. This would be a pan for, like, you know, draining blood. Just get that sponge to wipe off blood, then squeeze the blood into the pan. Okay, see the splints and crutches there. And they have quite a few items here from the Civil War. Different uniforms, guns. See the flag and drum there. Here in the guns case, different pieces of weaponry. Yeah, look at the size of these projectiles. Can you imagine getting hit with one of those? There's some Civil War hand grenades. They look like lawn darts there. And then I've never seen this. This is a Confederate winged shot. I guess like a be like fired out of a cannon, but it actually has wings on it. I guess it was meant to fly further. It says this was never actually used. They you know, it was a prototype trying to come up with a new secret weapon, but yeah, it's pretty terrifying. Yeah, imagine having to drink all your water out of canteens. You can see here they have a lady bullet maker. Yeah, when I think about the Civil War, I always thought about like just cannonballs, just round cannonballs, but there's all these different projectiles here that are much more terrifying than I imagine. See the mourning widow in here. Of course, you know, sometimes it gets lost in all the talk of war, just like the real human cost, all the sadness that it causes, the people left behind from people out dying on the battlefield. You can see the mourning veil there. Yeah, this is apparently a Valentine that was sent back home to his wife. A soldier actually made this, I guess, like folded the paper and cut the design and then sent it back to his wife, and then he died just a few months later. There's some mourning jewelry as the dead soldiers there. They could help remember them by. Yeah, these ones here actually have the locks of hair of the passed away soldier in them. Yeah, it does strike me how many people died in American Civil War. I think it still holds the record for most Americans to die in a war, beating out the world wars. I guess part of that is because both sides technically were Americans. So the graves markers here, and it says that majority were not, the soldiers were not identified. Back then it was hard to identify people. They didn't have the technology, so a lot of people buried in mass graves. This section is called the Stories of Atlanta, and they have lots of different artifacts documenting Atlanta history here, of course, starting with this soapstone bowl from Native American culture. It's a piece of the Western Atlantic Railroad recovered at Big Shanty in Georgia, so that is now known as Kennesaw, Georgia, and it talks about Atlanta's original name was Terminus, which I did not know that, but I know that then they referred to, there was a post-apocalyptic settlement called Terminus in The Walking Dead, which took place in Atlanta. So that's pretty interesting. So they changed the name to Marthasville, and then eventually became Atlanta in 1845. And there is a carpet bag. And then, some people still ask why I call myself the Carpetbagger, and there is a political cartoon of a carpetbagger. It was after the Civil War, actually. They said that people from the North packed their carpet bags and moved to the South to take advantage of the South after the war, and then it became kind of a derogatory term for outsiders. And when I originally started the channel, kind of the goal was to explore the American South. I'm from, northern Indiana, from the North, and I remember early in my Flickr days, someone had referred to me as a carpetbagger, just simply because I was from the North, because I was interested in the South, taking photos in the South, and I kind of chuckled at them calling me a carpetbagger, and then later I would take that as the name for my channel. Of course, Coca-Cola, first bottled in Atlanta. There's a Coca-Cola bottle from 1900. First bottled by Dr. John Pemberton, and you can go to the World of Coke. It's a massive Coke museum here. I know originally Dr. Pemberton, who was an ex-Confederate soldier, was addicted to heroin and was looking for a way to cure his heroin addiction, and that's why he came up with the recipe for Coca-Cola. It's about Prohibition there. Have a jug of moonshine. Here in 1910, the first air show at the Atlanta Speedway. And there are some goggles. You used to have to wear goggles when you flew an airplane because the cab wasn't sealed like it is today. Here is a drum from the main villains of the Southern United States, the KKK. It talks about how they sadly were actually revived in 1915 in Stone Mountain, Georgia, which unfortunately Stone Mountain was kind of the center point of the Klan revival. Luckily, they're getting away from that over in Stone Mountain these days. Become more of a family theme park than a meeting ground for hate groups. Is the Gone with the Wind, a novel about Atlanta and a famous movie. I've never seen this movie. This is one movie that I feel like I need to watch. I know it's very long, so I need to at some point dedicate a day to watching this movie. It is kind of a quintessential Southern movie. Here is Izzy, the mascot for the 1996 Summer Olympics. Sadly, there was tragedy there when Eric Rudolph bombed the Olympic Park. So See these old-timey swimsuits there. I'm glad that my swim trunks don't have a belt on them. But talking here about how swimming was segregated. You know, coming through the History Center, you realize Atlanta history. You know, there is a lot of, you know, a lot of tragedy, a lot of sad stuff. You know, including, you know, segregation, kind of the heart of the Civil War down here, and a lot of sadness that springs forth from that. Some cheap amusements. You see a ribbon there from the Georgia State Fair in Atlanta. Now, I went to the Georgia State Fair last year, and they no longer have any livestock show. It's basically just a carnival at this point. You know, when you see things like this in museum, votes for women, obviously this is a positive sentiment, and it's really impactful that women did get out there and fight for their votes. But at the same time, it kind of makes you sad that they had to. I mean, the idea that women were not allowed to vote, you know, that people, African Americans, weren't allowed to swim in the same swimming pools. I mean, you're so happy that people stood up and changed these things, but at the same time, it makes you very sad that they needed to be changed in the first place, just because you know, basic human dignity was ignored a lot of time in the past. Maybe sometimes it still is. Here's an exhibit on the barber shops of Atlanta, and it talks about how stories were passed at barber shops. It's a place for people to congregate and tell stories that they've experienced, and create a sense of community. See the old token machine from the MARTA station, which is the train system that gets you around Atlanta. Again, a lot of really sad history here. Talks about anti-Semitism and the temple bombing here. It says the oldest synagogue in Atlanta was bombed October 12th, 1958. There's a piece of the synagogue here. Just, wow, just a lot of tragedy in these walls. There is evangelist Billy Sunday talking about the influx of evangelical Christians into the Atlanta area. See the baptismal gown there. Talks about Y'allywood here. You know how in the past couple decades filming of TV shows and movies has become very, very popular here in Atlanta. I know different stuff like Walking Dead, and I think some of the Marvel movies filmed here. This is the varsity jacket of Zach from Vampire Diaries. I guess he was the Mystic Falls Timberwolves. Unfortunately, a few empty cases here, so I'm guessing studios wanted their props back. But yeah, definitely seeing a lot more stuff filmed in Atlanta. There is a soapbox derby racers. I think that's one thing I do really want to do, is at some point see a soapbox derby race. I think that's one thing I've never had the honor of being able to attend. You can see a temporary exhibit here on the Girl Scouts. You can see the different uniforms and the cookies there. My daughter Annabelle actually was a Girl Scout. I remember cookie selling season was quite chaotic and busy. Different uniforms here. The Girl Scouts actually founded in Georgia, not in Atlanta, but in Savannah, Georgia. This is Juliet Gordon Lowe, the founder of the Girl Scouts. You can visit her home in Savannah. And actually, when I first walked in, there was a big troop of Girl Scouts over here looking at this exhibit. They do have a full-sized locomotive in here. This is the Texas from the Western and Atlantic Railroad Company. I think we're actually allowed to crawl inside. Let's look around the side here. Oh yeah, that staircase over here. Oh yeah, that's where they keep all the coal. I think shoveling coal on an old train was probably a hard job. Probably one I would not be able to do. Oh yeah, they'd shovel the coal from over here, put it into the boiler, and imagine how hot that would be working right here. Yeah, train work is some hard work. It's a gallery over here with a bunch of Olympic torches. See Barcelona torch there. It's the 1984 Los Angeles Olympics torch. Moscow torch. Yeah, they would, you know, the idea is they'd run the torch across, you know, across a great distance, transport the torch on foot, have people running, holding the torch as they ran. And over here, this is the 1996 Atlanta torch, and I actually had I have one of my very distinct memories. 1996, sitting in my mom's living room on the couch, just looking out the window. Back before we had phones, sometimes we were so bored we just looked out the window. And I remember a police car drove by, flashing lights, kind of caught my attention, and then running behind the police car was a man carrying the Olympic torch for the 1996 Olympics. I just saw the Olympic torch just ran past in front of my mom's house, and I was flabbergasted. I was not expecting to see it, and that's just always been a memory that's really stuck with me. Here is an Olympic Information Center, something from a more analog time, you know, before the internet was big. And then, you know, we had the internet in 1996, but it wasn't what it is now. But you'd have this like manual information center where you'd have the screen and the phone there. Oh, and there's a massive mascot costume of Izzy, the mascot for the Atlanta Olympics. It says it was, I guess it was more of a troubled mascot. It said that it was debuted at the 1992 Barcelona Games. It was originally called What Is It? And I guess they changed the name to Izzy. It said people did not like it. It was kind of some negative reaction. It said that a lot of times the mascots were supposed to you know, be referential to the cities, the countries that they're from, and they said that Izzy here did none of those things. That it was just I guess a computer-generated blob. But it said that children did love Izzy, but that's in the end that's what's important. Talks about Atlanta's bid to try to get the Summer Olympics in 1996, and it says as part of the bid, Xavier Roberts of Cabbage Patch fame from Babyland General created the corporate kid as part of the presentation to the Olympic Committee to try to get the Olympics sent to Georgia. Yeah, it shows items that were presented to the Olympic Committee, including a box of Dillard House peanut brittle. I used to be a server at the Dillard House, so that kind of cracks me up. Wow, the Dillard House. That's pretty funny. They gave that box of Dillard House peanut brittle to the Olympic Committee. I've actually heard that a corporation bought the Dillard House. I had a bad falling out with the owner, so I don't know, maybe now that another company owns it, and he is dead too, so there's that. But now that the family doesn't own anymore, maybe I will eat there sometime. Now this is the crown jewel of the Atlanta History Center. This is the Cyclorama. It's a giant painting of a Civil War battle. Used to have its own attraction. It used to have its own building over next to the Atlanta Zoo, but that closed down years ago, and the painting was moved over here to the Atlanta History Center. So let's go see the Atlanta Cyclorama. Yeah, it looks like we have to head into the basement to enter because the painting is 2 stories tall. So to be able to see it, we have to go down into the basement here and head inside over this door. See the Battle of Atlanta here. And as you head in, you can see kind of how the painting is wrapped around the room. So it's like a circular painting. I guess that's kind of what a cyclorama is, a circular painting, but it's absolutely massive. You can see how it's kind of how it's like set up in a tube where you can enter it. So let's enter the painting. And it's not often you see an escalator in a painting. So let's head upwards. Alright. Getting up to the top of the cyclorama here. You can see the complete 360 painting that we are inside of. Yeah, not only do they have the painting here, but you can see there's actually have like three-dimensional soldiers down there, adding to the realism of the painting. All the soldiers, you can see them heading there inside the painting there. The ground over here littered with the corpses of soldiers. Yeah, pretty amazing the artistry that goes into making something like this. The cyclorama. Oh yeah, you can see the home over here being destroyed in the battle. Yeah, I came down here to the bottom of the cyclorama. Let's see soldiers here at the bottom. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, it's just crazy how big painting is. You see a bald eagle flying to the sky there. You can see this kind of shows how the cyclorama was painted here in Milwaukee, of all places, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. You can see the rafters built to hold up the painting and to allow the artists to complete it. You can see the plans here where they have the painting kind of divided up into sections. I guess they have a grid to help the artists be able to make sure everything comes to life. See some of the merchandising here, some of the merch from when the cyclorama was originally erected. The postcard there that has the whole painting as a fold out. There is the audio soundtrack of the Atlanta Cyclorama, and so the banner there with the flag on it. So thank you for joining me today. I would have loved to have spent more time filming in the Oddities Museum, but we follow the rules, and I'm very grateful that they let me film what they did, given that they were not letting anyone else film or take pictures at all. And I can always say my arguments, why I think I should be allowed to film, but in the end, it is their collection. They spent a lifetime collecting all that stuff, and they have an absolute 100% right to say who can or can't film. So we follow the rules. We appreciate what we are allowed to film, and all I can say is, if you are in the Atlanta area, I would definitely 100% recommend checking that out. If that is oddities that you are into, taxidermy, freak taxidermy, they really have one of the greatest oddities collections. So I could just show you just a teeny tiny little bit, but I have no problem endorsing that museum and saying go see it for yourself, because it is worth it. I think this kind of just, kind of an old showman mentality. The old freak shows, you would have never been allowed to take photos or video in. So I think that's kind of some of that old school sideshow mentality that you don't get a free peek. You gotta give that money. But it was $10 for entry fee, and just an unbelievable experience. Way worth way more than a $10 entry fee. So I couldn't be happy enough that I was able to even film just a little teeny tiny piece of their amazing collection. And there's the Atlanta History Museum, also cool place. I was here. I looked. It had been 4 years since I've been here. Sometimes the time just slips away. I think ever since the pandemic happened, it's really slipped away from me. But yeah, it's good stuff. It's a smaller museum, but they have some good stuff here. And of course, always cool to visit the Cyclorama, which was just like this grand, classic Atlanta tourist attraction. And I'm glad they preserved it here at the museum. The old building is still over at the old zoo. You can still see the Cyclorama building, but for whatever reason, the city owned all of it. I think the city felt, if I understand correctly, because of kind of the modern sensibilities and some of the maybe the glorification of the Confederacy in the painting, the city wanted to keep the painting and keep it on display, but I think they felt it was better in a museum setting, so that's why they moved it here to the Atlanta History Center. As for me, I am sleeping in my own bed tonight, but it is just a pit stop, because I have somewhere to be. I have been invited. I don't want to spoil it, but I have been invited to preview a new roller coaster at a very prominent theme park. They're having a media day where they're allowing people to ride the roller coaster before it is open to the public. And as terrified as I am, because I don't want to ride this roller coaster, it's very scary, but I feel it's my duty. I've been invited by the park itself. I feel it's my duty to you to go ride this roller coaster. So stay tuned for that, and thank you for watching these videos. Again, if you like these videos, please subscribe. I travel around the country filming roadside attractions, amusement parks, museums, haunted houses, and other fun, random stuff. If you'd like to help support the channel in other ways, consider contributing to Patreon. $3 or more, get you a postcard once a month from me to you. Also selling enamel pins in the Etsy shop, and doing personalized messages on Cameo. Of course, all that helps keep this train on the track, this boat in the water, and this dirigible in the air. Until next time, my friends, this one's in the bag.